A quiet morning at the Heartland Ranch. The golden sun rising behind the distant hills. And Amy standing beside a restless horse. It feels peaceful. But beneath that calm, something is changing. Episode 2 of Heartland, Season 19 isn't just another day at the ranch. It's the start of a storm that will test every bond, every promise, and every piece of Amy's heart. This episode takes the warmth and calm we've always known in Heartland and blends it with deep emotion, reminding us that healing isn't a straight path. It's a winding road filled with unexpected turns. The episode opens with the same breathtaking view that has always defined Heartland: wide fields, a rising sun, and the sound of horses running through the morning mist. But this time, the calmness feels heavy, as if something big is about to happen. Amy is in the barn, brushing the mane of a new horse brought in the night before. It's a wild one, untamed and full of energy, mirroring the unsettled feelings inside her. She's been trying to stay busy, to focus on work, but anyone who truly knows her can tell she's carrying the weight of something she hasn't said out loud. Lou, on the other hand, is buried in her responsibilities as mayor and as a mother. She walks into the barn, holding her coffee, tired yet strong, ready to take on another day that will probably ask too much of her. There's a brief exchange between the sisters, warm but distant. You can sense the love, but also the silence between them. Both women are fighting their own battles, but pretending everything is fine. Because that's what the Heartland family has always done. They hold things together, even when they're falling apart inside. Meanwhile, Jack is out by the fences, fixing a broken post with his usual quiet determination. The wind picks up, and for a moment, he pauses, looking out at the land that's seen generations of love and loss. There's something in his expression, maybe pride, maybe worry, that reminds us that Heartland isn't just a place. It's a promise that life keeps moving, even when hearts are heavy. Tim makes his first appearance halfway through the opening scenes. Storming in with his usual energy, he's frustrated about a new rodeo sponsor pulling out at the last minute. And it becomes clear that his story this episode will revolve around ambition versus family. He's trying hard to make his new venture work, but his short temper and stubborn pride keep getting in the way. You can almost feel the tension building, the kind that's been brewing for seasons, between his dreams and his responsibilities to the people who care about him. Back in the barn, Amy leads the new horse out into the open paddock. The animal pulls back sharply, resisting her control, its wild eyes filled with fear. It's not just another training session. There's something deeper here. Amy watches the horse's movements closely, and for a brief second, we see a flash of emotion cross her face: grief, guilt, or maybe a memory of Ty. It's subtle but powerful. The camera lingers on her face long enough for us to understand. She's not just trying to help this horse. She's trying to heal herself. Later, as she walks the horse around the ring, she speaks softly, not really to the animal, but to herself. The dialogue here is simple but heavy with meaning. She says something like, "You can't run forever. You've got to let someone in." It's as if she's reminding herself of that truth, too. The ranch may look peaceful, but Amy's heart is still restless as the morning fades into afternoon. We see the rest of the Heartland family going through their day. Small moments that show their connection. Katie helping Jack with tools, Lou checking her phone too often, Tim pacing while on a call. These quiet moments remind viewers that life at Heartland isn't about big events or dramatic fights. It's about people trying to keep going, even when the past still lingers like a shadow. By the time the first act closes, Amy has managed to calm the wild horse just enough to guide it back into the stable. She pats its neck gently, whispering words of reassurance. The light streaming through the barn door turns golden, and for a moment, it feels like peace has returned. But as the camera pans away, the music shifts slightly, softer, but uneasy, hinting that this calm won't last for long. Something is about to test them all, and that's how episode 2 begins. Slow, emotional, and deeply human. It's not about action or drama at first glance, but about the quiet tension that builds in moments of silence. About the way grief hides behind daily routines. And about how, at Heartland, every sunrise brings both hope and heartache. The day moves forward at Heartland, but the air around the ranch carries a quiet tension that's hard to ignore. The morning light has faded into a golden afternoon, and though everything seems calm, you can sense that change is coming. Amy walks through the paddock, the new horse watching her with alert eyes, cautious but curious. The connection between them is growing, slowly and carefully, like trust rebuilding after heartbreak. There's a moment when the horse finally takes a hesitant step toward her, and that single movement says more than words ever could. It's as if both are testing the possibility of healing again. But Heartland is never just about one story. As Amy works with the horse, Lou is in town, trying to juggle her duties as mayor and her role as sister and mother. Her day is full of phone calls, paperwork, and unexpected challenges that make her question whether she's doing any of it right. In one scene, she stands outside the town hall, her phone in hand, staring at a message she doesn't answer. The expression on her face says everything. She's trying to hold her world together, but there's a part of her that feels like it's slipping away. Back at the ranch, Jack and Lisa share a rare quiet conversation over coffee. It's one of those soft, slow-paced Heartland moments that fans cherish, where nothing grand happens, but everything important is said in silence. Jack, ever the steady heart of the family, talks about the importance of slowing down, of not letting life's noise drown out what truly matters. Lisa listens, her eyes full of unspoken concern for Amy. They both know she's struggling, even if she won't say it. The episode begins to pick up emotional weight when Amy receives a visitor, an older rancher who brings a message and a challenge. He explains that the horse she's working with belonged to his late brother, a man who once trained alongside Ty years ago. Hearing Ty's name again changes everything. You can see the shift in Amy's face, the small flicker of pain and warmth, all tangled together. She agrees to continue helping, not just for the horse, but for the memory of Ty and the promise she made to herself, to keep his spirit alive through her work. Meanwhile, Tim's story takes a sharp turn. His rodeo plans face another setback when one of his partners backs out, forcing him to make a hard decision. He wants to prove he can build something lasting, but deep down, his drive has always been tied to his need for redemption, for all the mistakes he made as a father and as a man. In one scene, he's seen looking at an old photo of his younger self, the camera lingering long enough for the audience to see the regret behind his eyes. It's subtle, but powerful. Tim isn't the villain of his own story. He's just a man who can't stop chasing second chances. The middle of the episode focuses on Amy's growing connection with the horse, which becomes a metaphor for her emotional journey. Each session between them mirrors her struggle with letting go. The horse fights back, at first wild, untamed, fearful, and Amy's patience is tested. But as she softens, speaking in calm tones and moving slower, the horse begins to trust her. It's a quiet, beautiful dance between pain and acceptance. The camera captures every breath, every heartbeat, every trembling moment where Amy seems to be healing alongside the animal. There's a particularly emotional scene where Amy is left alone in the barn at sunset. The light is fading, shadows stretch across the walls, and the air feels heavy with memories. She leans against a wooden post, looking down at a photo of Ty she keeps nearby. The silence around her feels almost alive. She whispers, something barely audible, maybe a thank you, maybe a promise. And that's the kind of moment that defines Heartland. Not loud, not dramatic, but deeply human. Lou returns later in the evening, exhausted but trying to stay positive. She finds Amy still in the barn and gently suggests they have dinner together. Amy agrees, and for the first time in the episode, we see her smile, small, real, fragile. It's a glimpse of hope, the kind that only comes after a long day of trying to hold everything together. As night falls, Jack turns off the porch light and looks up at the stars, a soft country melody playing in the background. He mutters a few words that carry a weight of wisdom, something about how the hardest part of moving on isn't forgetting, but learning to live with the memories. It's a simple line, but it echoes through every storyline in the episode. By the end of this section, the ranch feels calm again, but beneath that peace, emotions are stirring. Each character, Amy, Lou, Tim, and Jack, is walking their own path, but they're all tied by the same truth. No matter how much time passes, the heart never forgets where it's been. And in Heartland, every scar tells a story worth remembering. As the night settles over the Heartland ranch, the day's calm gives way to quiet reflection. This is where episode 2 begins to reveal its emotional depth, not through big twists or dramatic confrontations, but through moments that show who these characters are when no one is watching. The light from the house windows spills softly over the fields, and inside, each member, Amy, as always, is the emotional core of the story. Throughout this episode, we see her caught between the person she was and the person she's becoming. She's not the same woman she was when Ty was alive, and she's not entirely sure who she wants to be without him. The new horse she's been working with isn't just a project, it's a mirror reflecting her heart. Every time it resists her, it's like she's confronting her own resistance to letting go of the past. When she finally gets the horse to trust her enough to take a calm step forward, there's no applause, no music swell, just a quiet realization that healing doesn't come all at once. It comes in moments so small, most people would miss them. What makes Amy's journey so powerful in this episode is how she begins to rediscover her sense of purpose. There's a subtle shift in her eyes when she's talking to Jack or when she pauses after brushing the horse's mane. It's as if she's starting to see that maybe her life isn't about finding what she lost, but about learning to love what remains. Her compassion, her calmness, her connection with animals, all of it comes back, piece by piece, and it feels earned, not forced. Lou's arc, on the other hand, is about pressure and identity. She's always been the one holding things together, the one who tries to fix every problem before it breaks. But in this episode, we see the cracks forming. Her work as mayor is consuming her time, and she's missing the simple moments with her family that used to keep her grounded. There's a scene where she sits in her car after a long day, just staring out the windshield, tears threatening to fall but never quite coming. It's such a human moment, that feeling of being stretched too thin, of wondering if doing everything means you're doing anything right. When she returns home that evening and sees Amy with the horse, there's a flicker of envy in her eyes, mixed with admiration. Amy has found something to pour her heart into, something real and alive, while Lou feels trapped in a world of meetings and expectations. But instead of resentment, what grows between them is understanding. Their relationship in this episode is quieter, no shouting, no big arguments, just two sisters learning to meet each other where they are. When Lou finally tells Amy, "You're doing good work here," it's not just a compliment, it's an apology, and Amy knows it. Tim's journey continues to be about control and redemption. His story often brings tension, but in episode 2, it brings a rare kind of vulnerability. We see him facing the possibility of failure again, and it shakes him. There's a short but emotional scene where he visits Ty's old memorial, standing there in silence, unsure what to say. For a man who's spent his life talking too much, this quiet moment says everything. You can feel that he's not just grieving Ty, he's grieving the years he lost with his own family because of pride and mistakes. It's a reminder that even the strongest men can feel small under the weight of regret. Jack's arc ties everything together. He's the steady hand, the calm voice, the one who's always there when everyone else starts to drift. But even he isn't immune to time. His storyline in this episode is filled with quiet wisdom, showing how he's trying to prepare Amy and Lou for the day when he won't always be there. He doesn't say it outright, he never would, but his actions speak louder. Fixing the fence with Katie, giving Lou gentle advice, watching Amy from the porch as she works with the horse. All of it is Jack passing on what truly matters: patience, love, and the courage to keep trying. What ties all these character arcs together is the theme of healing in motion. Everyone at Heartland is moving forward, but no one is rushing. The show reminds us that grief isn't a wall to climb over, it's a river you learn to cross, one step at a time. There's beauty in that message, in how ordinary moments, like feeding a horse, sharing coffee, or fixing a fence, become metaphors for rebuilding. By the end of this section, the audience can feel the emotional weight lift just slightly. Amy's bond with the horse deepens, Lou finds a moment of peace with her family. Tim faces his past without turning away, and Jack stands quietly, the ranch behind him glowing in the last light of day. The camera lingers on him as he looks toward the horizon, a soft smile on his face because he knows that no matter how hard things get, this family always finds its way home. The final act of Heartland, Season 19, Episode 2 unfolds like a slow-burning sunrise, gentle, emotional, and quietly powerful. The tone shifts from the heavy weight of uncertainty to something that feels like release. Every storyline that's been building since the episode began finds its quiet resolution, not through shouting or grand gestures, but through understanding and grace. It starts at dawn the next day. The ranch is covered in a soft layer of mist, and everything feels still, the kind of stillness that only comes before change. Amy walks toward the paddock, her boots crunching over the frost-covered grass. The wild horse stands there waiting, no longer pacing or restless. The camera lingers on her face, calm, determined, but deeply emotional. This is the moment the whole episode has been leading up to. Not a dramatic rescue, not a fight for survival, but a test of trust. She opens the gate slowly, steps inside, and doesn't reach for the lead rope this time. Instead, she just stands there, breathing, letting the silence fill the space between them. The horse watches her, ears flicking, eyes softening. Then, without a command, it takes a few steps forward, small, uncertain, but free of fear. Amy doesn't move, she just waits, and after a moment, the horse lowers its head, gently nudging her shoulder. It's a simple gesture, but it carries the weight of the entire episode. This is healing, not loud, not fast, but real, at that exact moment. Jack walks out onto the porch, coffee in hand, watching from a distance. There's a knowing smile on his face, proud, relieved, but also bittersweet. He's seen this kind of growth before. He knows Amy's not just training a horse, she's finding herself again. The background music swells softly, that familiar Heartland theme that always appears when something important finally settles into place. Meanwhile, Lou steps out of the house, still in her robe, drawn by the quiet beauty of what's unfolding. For a brief second, the family stands there, Amy with the horse, Jack and Lou on the porch, all of them silently connected. No words are spoken, but everything that needed to be said is understood. It's one of those Heartland endings that speaks straight to the heart, reminding viewers that love doesn't always need dialogue. Sometimes, presence is enough. But just as everything feels calm, the show gives us that classic Heartland twist, not something shocking or tragic, but something subtle that stirs curiosity. Later that day, Amy receives a call from the rancher who brought her the horse. His voice carries a mix of gratitude and hesitation. He tells her that while the horse seems calmer, there's more to its story. Something about how it was found near a property once connected to Ty's old vet clinic. The moment Amy hears Ty's name again, her expression changes. Her calmness wavers for a heartbeat, replaced by something deeper, a feeling that this horse's arrival might not have been random at all. The scene cuts to Amy sitting alone in the barn that evening. The sun has set, and the air is thick with that golden blue hue of twilight. She's quiet, thoughtful, tracing her fingers over an old photo of her and Ty. Her eyes glisten, not with sadness, but with that kind of emotional strength that only comes from remembering love without falling apart. She looks up at the horse, standing nearby, and whispers softly, "Maybe you came here for a reason." The horse flicks its ear, as if it understands. It's a small, intimate moment, one that closes the episode on both closure and possibility. Lou's ending mirrors Amy's. She finally sits down at the kitchen table, laptop open, but instead of diving into work, she shuts it and looks out the window toward the barn. Katie walks in, asking if she can help bake something. And Lou smiles, really smiles for the first time in what feels like weeks. It's a moment that says she's learning to let go of perfection and focus on presence. Her arc ends quietly, not with victory, but with balance. Tim's story closes on a similarly reflective note. After a tough day at the rodeo grounds, he stands by the arena fence as the sun dips below the horizon. His partner offers him a drink, but he declines, saying, "Not tonight." It's a simple line, but it carries so much meaning. For once, Tim chooses peace over pride, reflection over reaction. The camera pans out slowly, showing him alone in the fading light. The sound of distant horses echoing through the air. A man finally learning that slowing down doesn't mean giving up. The episode ends back at the ranch. As Amy steps out of the barn one last time, the night sky is vast and filled with stars, and the ranch glows softly under the moonlight. Jack's voice narrates over the final shots, his tone gentle and steady. You can't hold on to yesterday forever. Sometimes, you've got to let life move the way it wants to. Wild, messy, and beautiful. As he speaks, the camera focuses on Amy looking up at the stars, the horse standing quietly beside her. The wind picks up, rustling the grass, and for a fleeting moment, the audience feels that familiar ache, the kind that Heartland always leaves behind, the kind that reminds you of home, of loss, and of the strength it takes to keep loving through it all. Every episode of Heartland carries a heartbeat beneath its calm surface, a rhythm made up of small gestures, lingering looks, and quiet moments that speak louder than dialogue. Episode 2 of Season 19 is no exception. On the surface, it feels like an episode about healing and connection. But if you look closely, there are layers of meaning and subtle foreshadowing woven into every scene. It's a story that whispers its future instead of shouting it. The first and most symbolic element of this episode is the wild horse. From the very beginning, it's clear that this animal isn't just another rescue case, it's a reflection of Amy herself. The horse's fear, its instinct to run, its hesitation to trust again all mirror Amy's emotional state. When Amy finally earns the horse's trust at the end of the episode, it's not just about training. It's about rediscovering faith in life after loss. But the fact that the horse once belonged to someone connected to Ty's past adds another layer. It feels almost fated, as if the horse was brought into Amy's life not by chance, but as a quiet nudge from the universe, guiding her towards something unfinished. This moment might be Heartland's way of hinting that Amy's story with Ty isn't over, not in the physical sense, but in spirit. The call she receives about the horse's mysterious origins isn't just an emotional reminder of her late husband. It's a bread. The writers might be setting up a storyline where Amy uncovers a deeper link between Ty's work and this new horse. Maybe even discovering that Ty helped care for it years ago. If that's true, it would mean the animal itself is a living reminder of everything Amy and Ty stood for: compassion, patience, and trust. Another hidden theme in this episode revolves around Jack's quiet observations. Throughout episode 2, he doesn't do much in terms of plot, but his presence is constant, steady, and purposeful. He watches Amy with the horse, advises Lou, and even reflects alone on the porch. These scenes may seem simple, but they serve as emotional anchors, hints that Jack is preparing the next generation to stand on their own. His small comments about life moving forward and learning to let go might be setting up something heavier later in the season. There's a lingering sense that Jack is coming to terms with time, perhaps his own aging, or the realization that one day, the ranch will belong entirely to Amy and Lou. That theme of legacy is echoed in Lou's storyline too. Her exhaustion, her moments of doubt, and her slow realization that she's losing touch with the simple joys of home, all serve as a mirror to Jack's wisdom. It's as if the episode is quietly warning her that ambition means little if it comes at the cost of peace. The foreshadowing here feels gentle but deliberate. Lou may soon face a decision between her growing responsibilities as mayor and her life at the ranch. The way she looks out the window at the barn, choosing family over work at the end, might be her first step toward recentering her life around what truly matters. Tim's moments, though brief, carry their own kind of symbolic meaning. The scene of him at Ty's memorial, silent, reflective, stripped of his usual confidence, hints that his story this season will involve deeper His line, "Not tonight," at the rodeo, isn't just about skipping a drink. It's about choosing growth over escape. It's a small but powerful sign that Tim's arc may finally lead him toward redemption and peace. The writers might be setting the stage for him to reconnect with his family in a more meaningful way, not through words, but through actions that prove he's changed. Then there's the ranch itself, Heartland as a living symbol. The way the episode uses lighting, from the golden mornings to the deep blue twilights, mirrors the emotional journey of its characters. Every sunrise represents hope, and every sunset acceptance. The episode begins with a restless dawn and ends with a peaceful night, reflecting Amy's transformation. But in between those 2 points, the weather subtly shifts, the clouds rolling in, the light dimming, and then clearing again, as if nature itself is reacting to the family's emotions. It's a visual metaphor that Heartland has always used beautifully, and it suggests that the ranch will continue to play a guiding role in what's to come. Another layer of foreshadowing hides in the small details. Amy's whisper to the horse, "Maybe you came here for a reason," isn't just a sentimental line, it's almost prophetic. It opens the door for a storyline where this horse becomes a key part of Amy's emotional and perhaps professional journey. Maybe it will lead her to a new connection, or maybe it will uncover something from Ty's past that gives her one final piece of closure. The closing narration from Jack, "You can't hold on to yesterday forever," isn't just meant for Amy, it's meant for all of them. It's a thematic thread tying every storyline together, reminding the audience that this season is about transition, from loss to growth, from holding on to letting go. Heartland Season 19 seems to be preparing its characters and its viewers for change. And in this show, change never comes without emotion. The final shot of Amy under the stars might seem like a peaceful ending, but it's actually a beginning in disguise. The way she looks at the horizon, the faint smile on her lips, the wind moving through her hair, it's as if the universe is telling her that the story isn't done yet. Something new is coming, something that will test her strength, but also remind her that love, in its purest form, never really leaves. So while episode 2 closes with calm, it hums with quiet promise that the past may soon find its way back to Heartland, not as pain, but as light guiding Amy and her family toward what's next. And as every longtime fan knows, that's exactly how Heartland works. It's magic, not with noise or chaos, but with hearts that keep learning how to heal, one sunrise at a time. As the credits of Heartland Season 19 episode to begin to roll, the emotion it leaves behind doesn't fade, it lingers. It's the kind of episode that stays with you long after the screen goes dark, not because of shocking twists or big cliffhangers, but because it feels real. It reminds us of the quiet strength it takes to keep moving forward when life doesn't go the way we planned. It reminds us that healing is not about forgetting, it's about remembering with peace in your heart. This episode captures everything that makes Heartland special: the balance of pain and hope, the connection between people and nature, and the idea that every ending is just another beginning. Amy's bond with the wild horse isn't just the story of a woman helping an animal find its calm. It's the story of a soul learning to trust again after loss. Each scene is a soft echo of love, resilience, and family values that have been the foundation of Heartland for nearly 2 decades. The pacing of this episode is deliberate, allowing every glance, every silence, every small act of kindness to carry meaning. When Amy stands beside the horse in the paddock, or when Jack looks out across the land, the audience doesn't just watch, they feel the weight of those moments. It's storytelling at its purest. No rush, no noise, just emotion grounded in authenticity. That's what makes this series so powerful. It doesn't need to shout to make you feel something. The theme that runs through the entire episode is letting go while holding on. Letting go of the pain, but holding on to the love. Letting go of the past, but keeping the lessons it gave you. Amy learns that lesson in the most natural way, through the horse. Through her memories of Ty, through the people who never stop believing in her, even when she doubts herself. It's a message that speaks to anyone who's ever lost someone, or struggled to find their footing again. And that's what Heartland has always done best. It takes the personal, turns it universal, and whispers it gently into the hearts of its audience. Lou's quiet realization that she doesn't have to be everything for everyone mirrors Amy's growth. Both sisters are learning the same truth from different angles. Strength doesn't mean perfection. It means presence. The same applies to Tim and Jack, one trying to atone for the past, the other trying to prepare the future. Every generation at Heartland is walking a different road, but all those roads lead back to the same place: family, faith, and forgiveness. By the end of this episode, the ranch itself feels renewed. The fence is fixed, the horse is calm, the family sitting down together at dinner. It's not just a return to routine, it's a return to balance. The message is subtle but powerful. No matter how far life pulls you, Heartland, both the place and what it stands for, is always there waiting for you to come home. And as Amy looks up at the stars one last time before the screen fades to black, you can almost hear what she's thinking. That love doesn't disappear when someone's gone, it changes form. It becomes part of you. It guides you quietly through the storms. The episode ends not with words, but with peace. And that's why it's so moving. For fans, this episode is more than just a chapter in the new season. It's a reflection of what Heartland has always represented, that no matter how dark things get, there's always light waiting to break through. It's about the courage to believe in new beginnings, the patience to heal, and the strength to keep loving in a world that keeps changing. And that's why Episode 2 stands out. It's not just a continuation of the story. It's a reminder of why we fell in love with this show in the first place. So now, here's where you come in. What moment from this episode touched you the most? Was it Amy's quiet strength with the horse?